We are here to bring a new type of news show.
New insights, new styles, and new topics every day.
We are News Generation.
Bringing news just for you. It's Tuesday, July 16th here in Seoul. I'm Song Yujin, and you're watching News Generation. Today, we're joined by Kwon Ji-yeon.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
Lovely to have you. Now, both are here to speak on behalf of those in their 20s and 30s. As usual, we're going to begin with our news feed, which covers different hashtags and news items that have been trending online. The International Olympic Committee will hold the first ever Olympic esports games in Saudi Arabia next year. The two sides signed a 12-year partnership to regularly hold the games. Saudi Arabia recently hosted a 2-month-long esports World Cup in Riyadh. The announcement comes after the IOC announced that its executive board has established the Olympic esports games. The partnership will be proposed to the general meeting of IOC members, which will be held on July 25th on the eve of the Paris 2024 Olympics. Here in Korea, the National Forensic Service has concluded that the tragic car crash near Seoul City Hall 2 weeks ago was likely due to driver error. According to the Seoul Metropolitan Police Agency on Monday, the NFS reached this conclusion after analyzing the car, its black box, and the event data recorder. Their analysis indicated that the driver, a bus driver in his late 60s, pressed the accelerator pedal to 90% of its full capacity. A previous investigation revealed that the accelerator pedal in the driver's car is shaped similarly to the brake pedal in the bus he drives for work. The police will further investigate the accident, considering the possibility that the driver may have mistakenly pressed the accelerator instead of the brake after realizing he was driving the wrong way on a one-way road. New data shows that the number of YouTubers in their 20s or younger earning over 100 million Korean won annually, which is approximately $72,000 has increased 2.5 times in just 2 years in Korea. According to the National Tax Agency on Monday, out of the 2,781 YouTubers who reported annual earnings exceeding 100 million won, nearly half, 1,324 creators, were 20 years or old or younger. Now, here in the studio, you guys both are YouTubers, you are content creators. So what do you think are some of the reasons behind this fast-growing financial success of young content creators?
I think it's, something that a lot of younger generations strive to be. A long time ago, when you asked people my age
what you
wanted to be, obviously there was no such thing as a YouTuber.
Right.
And you wanted to be a police officer or whatever, but now everyone wants to be a YouTuber. And therefore, we are finding younger and younger people becoming YouTubers, and they're pumping out great content, and they're doing it on a regular basis, which is something you should do as a YouTuber. And they have the fandom, and they know what's trending at the time, and they're creating what's trending at the time as well. I got to say though, both like you said, Ji-hyun and I are both YouTubers, and I'm not one of those 1,000 or so people that are making the $70,000 a month. But I don't know how about you, Ji-hyun, but I'm definitely not making. I'd be happy to make half of that. So, but yes, they're doing some great stuff out there, and I only hope to be a part of it one day.
I think you have the potential, Walter.
Thank you very much.
Do it.
Well, but as much as these young YouTubers are reaping in a lot of revenue, the data also highlights that sponsorship money received by these YouTubers through their personal bank accounts is not included in their declared income, making it difficult to collect taxes on such earnings. So what do you think about this, Jian, as a YouTuber yourself?
Well, as a YouTuber myself, it's concerning to see the complexities around income reporting here, especially with sponsorships that you mentioned that are not easily traceable. Ensuring transparency and fair taxation is kind of very important for all creators, and it's quite important that authorities find effective ways, some good ways to address these challenges. So keeping up with taxes is as important as keeping up with new video trends.
Right, says both of our YouTube creators, who I think will be able to reach this revenue mark very soon in the near future. Fingers crossed. And that was our news feed for this Tuesday. So we're now going to move on to our main discussion of the day by taking a look at the screen. In Korea, it's becoming pretty normal for consumers to handle everything themselves in stores, from picking out a product to paying at the checkout and bagging up the purchases. This is because self-service unmanned stores are on the rise. These are stores with no staff, not even a cashier. So why are these stores becoming so popular in Korea, and what does the younger generation think about them? Right, so today we're going to talk about the rise in unmanned stores, especially here in Korea. And we really started seeing more of these stores after strict social distancing rules were put in place due to COVID-19 and also rising labor costs, which is making it tough for business owners to hire staff. So let's first talk about how many unmanned stores are we seeing here in Korea, Jian?
Well, due to COVID-19, there has been a significant increase in contactless services, resulting in a rapid growth of unmanned stores in Korea over a certain period of time. If you look at the screen, according to Civic News, in 2017, there were about 880 of these unmanned stores, unmanned ice cream stores, especially in Korea. And fast forward to 2022, that number has skyrocketed to over 4,000.
Wow.
It marks a five-fold increase in just 5 years. This surge highlights a growing preference for convenient, tech-driven retail experiences among consumers. And according to data from the retail industry, as of May, the number of unmanned stores is estimated to be over 100,000.
Right. So we're definitely seeing the number of these stores grow. And I think that as much as we're seeing an increase in the number of stores, we're seeing these unmanned stores becoming more diverse because before they were mostly unmanned convenience stores or the ice cream shops that you've mentioned, right?
There are loads of different unmanned stores in Korea. In addition to coin singing rooms, unmanned laundry services are here, bookstores and bakeries, unmanned photo booths. Korea also has unmanned cafes, vending machines, instant noodle shops, and even self-service kiosks for various services like food ordering and ticket purchases as well.
A lot of unmanned stores that we're seeing. Anything you'd like to add to the variety of unmanned stores in Korea, Walter?
It seems that you can almost unman anything
Right.
these days. So like flower shops as well are very popular these days. Sandwich shops, hotels, parking lots, eggs, meat, I guess you name it. It seems that it can be unmanned these days.
Right. So especially the reason why we're talking about this topic today is because a younger generation is known to be really into these stores. They are major users of these stores. So as part of this generation, what kind of unmanned stores have you visited or you normally visit?
Well, ice cream shops, unmanned ice cream shops, I'm fond of it. But personally, I find myself visiting unmanned ice cream shops about 2 to 3 times a week.
Wow.
As I have a particular fondness for ice cream. These shops are conveniently located and offer a very pleasant atmosphere, making them delightful places to visit. And I also appreciate unmanned coffee shops. The absence of labor costs allow me to enjoy high quality coffee at a reasonable price. And there is an unmanned side dish shop near my residence, which I often visit when I don't want to cook. And when I visit unmanned stores, I appreciate being able to thoroughly check the ingredients, calorie information, without feeling pressured by the store owner. Plus, no one's there to judge my snack choices.
Right. And I think I definitely agree with you on the reason why we love to use these unmanned stores, because personally, I feel less pressure when I'm going to an unmanned store because I can take as much time as I want to look over the products and I don't have to feel the pressure of the business owner or the staff waiting for me to check out my products. Now to you, Walter, what kind of unmanned shops do you like to use?
Well, like Jihyun, and as we've mentioned on the show many, many times, I am also a big fan of ice cream.
Eating 4 ice creams
One's
a day.
eating 4 ice creams in a day. So that means more than one trip to the ice cream shop per day. There are quite a lot of unmanned stores in my area as well, and like, for instance, ice cream shops and cafes. I much prefer going to the unmanned ice cream shop, as you guys have mentioned, because basically you get to roam free. It's like a kid in a candy store, basically. You get to roam free and be amongst all the ice creams and think about what you want without the pressure of the store owner going, hurry up, I need to, go and do something else or stack the shelves or whatever. However, I sort of am on the other side. Jihyun said that she likes to go to these unmanned cafes. I'm not one of those people who seems to be quite interested in them because
why?
I like to go to a cafe for the atmosphere. I like to go to the cafe to study as well. And those places don't really have the either facilities or the atmosphere that I enjoy when it comes to cafes. And I really don't see a lot of people visiting the ones in my neighborhood. So I don't know if they're going to catch on, in my opinion, but maybe they will a bit later later on in life when people become less, social as we are continuously becoming less social. So yes, who knows?
Right, we'll have to see. But we're definitely seeing an increase in the number of unmanned stores here in Korea. But to find out if these stores are a global trend, we also asked our viewers if their countries have these stores and which types are popular. And here's what 3 of them had to say. So if we look at the comments, Chip says in Canada, I've only seen unmanned stands at farms for things like flowers, fruits, vegetables, eggs, and firewood. Leon says, yes, unmanned stores are gaining popularity in Singapore. The most popular type of unmanned stores are convenience stores. Tasmia says there is only one unmanned store in Bangladesh, but it's outside the capital. It sells only stationary items and only accepts cash payment. It's unmanned to teach integrity to students and adults. So looking at the comments, we can see that Korea isn't the only country with these unstaffed stores, but the industry has grown a lot here, with some international news outlets even saying that unmanned stores are becoming a defining feature of Korea's commercial landscape. So I want to ask our panelists, why do you think that this industry has become so huge here in Korea?
Well, many Koreans are big fan of unmanned shops because they offer quick services, convenient and tech-savvy experiences. These places save time, and we can avoid some human interactions, are often open 24/7. And due to the absence of labor costs, the prices of drinks are lower, making these establishments more affordable to launch like cafes. So many members of the Gen Z generations are starting their own businesses in these kind of areas, taking advantage of the reduced financial barriers to entry.
So running these unmanned stores, not only using them, seems to have benefits when compared to running a manned store. Now, do you agree on this, Walter?
Yes, I definitely agree with it. And I also think that we're in the right society to do it. We're a very safe society. We're a very caring about other people's society, which we'll get into a little bit later. But not only that, it's also a great way of making money and also being able to run a part-time job at the same time.
Right.
So if you're able to from day to day, fill up your unmanned store, but then on the weekends, do a part-time job. That's almost like basically doing a full-time job, but without the full-time hours. So I think that's also a great way of making money, and maybe I should invest in an unmanned store sometime soon.
Maybe we should. Now, to find out more about this popularity of unmanned stores, we're now going to invite an expert to our talks right after this break. So today we're joined by Dr. Alex Barash, Associate Professor of Marketing at the University of Colorado at Boulder. Welcome, Doctor, to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. So our first question for you is, what are some reasons business owners are choosing to open unmanned stores?
Well, let's start off with the supply side, or the business reasons for doing this. You guys have mentioned a few of them already. Labor is getting more expensive in pretty much every country, and this is leading more and more businesses to try and automate their processes wherever possible. So you've seen that with the increased usage of chatbots or robots. In this case, with unmanned stores, it reduces the need for human labor. That obviously means greater efficiencies and cost savings. And as you guys also mentioned, it gives business owners the opportunity or flexibility to invest their time in other stores or other opportunities that present themselves. Business owners also care about what consumers want. And so the fact that consumers care about convenience and time savings, that's a good enough reason to invest in these types of stores. Consumers don't want to have small talk with a cashier for just grabbing a couple of quick items. And I'd say it's especially true in the case for certain products. You guys mentioned ice cream, but think about clothing stores as well, where you can feel self-conscious or you want a little bit more privacy. You don't want to feel judged about what you're choosing or how long you're taking. There's more and more research showing that millennials and Generation Z care care about this a lot, and they don't like to have those little side interactions when they can be more efficient.
So why do you think unmanned stores have become so popular here in South Korea compared to other countries?
Yeah, that's really interesting to me. And I think it's very clear that Korea's fast-paced culture plays a big part in that. That type of culture means that consumers especially appreciate the time savings and the efficiencies, even more than consumers in other countries. I would also say it's worth noting that in many countries around the world where there are people who kind of try to hold on to the more traditional local marketplaces, even when there are way more convenient ways to shop, they're forgetting about the way that these efficiencies can also just mean that they can be more deliberate or intentional about who they do spend their time with. And so I think it's really interesting to see these unmanned stores so popular and successful in Asian countries where people realize that they don't have to get their social needs met from transactional contexts. They don't need to talk to a human in a store. You'd rather spend that time interacting with family and friends and other people who are just more important in the community.
I'm loving your answers. I've actually been open, like I'd never thought about some of these answers that you're coming up with, but are there any risks that come with the unmanned stores?
Yeah, the obvious ones, of course, we have to say theft, security, safety, potential damage to products and cleanliness. Those are things that business owners mention a lot as reasons or issues that they have to face. Another interesting one is just quality control. So you mentioned, buying fresh fish in an unmanned store. What do you do if you don't know how fresh the fish is and you don't have somebody there to ask those questions to? Some people are concerned with being able to provide a personal touch. But in my opinion, I think all of these problems can mostly be solved by interacting with consumers in other ways, like through social media. And in general, a lot of the risks and benefits depend on the product category. So some products do require expertise from somebody who knows more about the product and can offer personalization. And some products, and convenience stores in particular, the impersonal and efficiencies works really well. So I think it's going to be really up to the marketplace to decide which ones become the product categories where you see more of these types of stores. Regardless, it's important for business owners to still stay up to date on consumer trends, even if they're not interacting with consumers as regularly. So that's just something to think about if you're considering opening up one of these stores.
Definitely something we should think about. All right, Dr. Bros, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thanks again for having me.
Thank you. Right, so as we just talked about in our interview, these unmanned stores, as much as the benefits they bring, there are some risks. So they aren't completely risk-free, right?
No. Well, but we do know that Korea is known for its high level of public safety. People can leave their belongings, their stuff in cafes without worrying about robbery or stealing still. However, like any public place, these stores are not entirely risk-free. Issues such as technical malfunctions, unauthorized access, or occasional incidents of minor stealing or robbery can be an issue. And the use of cameras and other monitoring technologies in unmanned stores can raise privacy concerns among customers. Despite these challenges, there are many heartwarming stories about honest people using the unmanned stores. I experienced this firsthand. I once left my credit card at an unmanned ice cream store without realizing it for 2 days. And 2 days later, when I returned back, I found my credit card exactly where I'd left it.
Wow, that's amazing.
Didn't use it.
Right. So I think that these stories and these examples are really what helps these stores get going, because they are still, in fact, safe, though there are issues still needs to be solved. Now, Walter, are there any examples that you'd like to add?
Yeah, so there was actually something in the paper about a student who was at one of those self-photo studios where you take photos. It comes out as a Polaroid, and a big trend these days is to wear funny hats or sunglasses or whatever it may be, and it's becoming massive all around the city and country itself. Now, the thing is that those headbands, those glasses, they're cheap stuff and they would break easily. And I guess most of us, if if we did break one of these headbands or glasses or whatever, may just think, oh, you know, it's just, they've got too many of them, I don't need to do anything about it. But one student actually decided to leave money behind and cover the cost of the headband, which probably wasn't that much, but still they were kind enough to leave money behind. So that is a heartwarming story from our community.
That's so lovely and nice to hear. But like, despite these issues, with rapid technological development and high demand, many expect the human-free retail industry to keep going. Ending off today, we talked about these unmanned stores. We even talked about our future plans that we might open one in the future. So are there any unmanned stores that you'd like to see or open in the future?
Yeah, imagine smart beauty stores with AI-powered skincare advisors or eco-friendly refill stations for household essentials. And why not create an educational unmanned center powered by AI. Students could just visit anytime to ask questions and study at their own pace, with AI analyzing their levels and offering personalized support. It's like a private tutor. So welcome to the future where your shopping cart is smarter than you and robots are there to assist with your homework. They're not going to do homework for you, but you have to get some help from them, making learning more efficient than ever.
Well, I think you're ready to open your unmanned store. I think it will be highly successful. Now, Walter, share your ideas too, please.
Well, here's the thing. I think it's a double-edged sword. You know, on one hand, it is convenient, and for some reason, we are, like I mentioned before, seem to be distancing ourselves away from each other. But it's also giving less jobs to the people out there who need it. And some people, including students, including anyone, to be honest with you, do need a job, whether that be working at a cafe, working at a restaurant, etc., etc. So for me, I am happy with the amount of stores that we have at the moment. I still think unmanned cafes aren't really going to be a thing, just due to here in Korea, we really like our individualized cafes and all the beautiful pictures we can take, and there's not really much to the unmanned cafes, to be honest with you. Ice cream stores I don't think will damage convenience stores, because we go to convenience stores for other reasons, and ice cream just happens to be something there, so I don't think they're going to damage those stores. So if we can find a good balance between like having unmanned stores and having manned stores, that would be a great thing for us to have. So I'm okay with the amount of stores we have at the moment.
I think this is something we should definitely think about as we move ahead. And that's all from us today, but NewsGen will be back tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Korea time for more topics young people are talking about. Special thanks today to Kwon Ji-yeon.
My pleasure.
And Walter Lee.
Lovely to be here.
And before we say goodbye, Arirang TV is conducting a program survey including News Generation in order to meet our viewers' expectations. So please visit us at the link below or the mobile app Arirang TV for your valuable feedback, including NewsGen, and take part in a chance to receive Bluetooth earbuds and K-pop merch. Once again, thank you everyone for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. We are News Generation.